Barou Shouei deserves better. Now, you guys know I've voiced my opinion on the recent match in 2 videos recently, yesterday and the day before. Go check those out in case you haven't already. But I'm unhappy with the result of this match because, as you know, I believe the Ubers should have won. Narratively, based on the players that they had on their team and the way that they were hyped up, it made no sense for Bayern Munich to win this match, especially going into the PXG match where we assumed that Isagi should finally get a win over Rin. I feel like going through a little bit of struggle beforehand would have really built the stage and built some tension to where there's a little bit of difficulty for Isagi to face, because at this point, it's quite the opposite. I feel like his ability seems almost clear of where anyone else is, and even if they are above him by the time the game starts, he's just going to surpass them because he does it with everybody else. And he's always done it. He's been developing mid-game throughout the entirety of the second selection, throughout the entire third selection. He didn't really do much in the third selection, but he still was able to evolve based on the environment he was around. And this is apparent, most obviously, in the Neo Egoist League. He subbed in the Barcher match halfway through, so we didn't see too much, even though he did develop a little bit, enough to get the assist to Kunigami, which, you know, helped his stats and got him a little bit of valuation, keeping his starting spot. But that's about it, as far as that match is concerned. Then you have the Manshine match, which is just... It was ridiculous. It was the prelude to the Isagi show. They had to balance everything because they actually still cared about side characters back then. Not like this match, but that's besides the point. The main issue, and one that I truly do have one of the biggest grievances with, is the fact that Barou Shouei was done so incredibly dirty. Now, when I say Barou deserves better, I'm not talking about just this last match. I'm talking about his treatment throughout the entirety of the series. Because if you guys can remember, the first time we saw Barou, it was actually rather dominant. Still, even with the obvious power gap that was between the two when they first met, as well as the power gaps that still coincided throughout the rest of their relationship, that was the only time that Barou has truly beat Isagi. You can credit his goals in the 3v3 and the 4v4 as victories, but truly he's playing for the same team. They're all trying to win. He was just leveling up himself. They're not taking victories on who's going to win, they're taking victories on who's leveling up. And where the issue lies here is the fact that it takes away from the competition of it all. Not only the competition, but the validity of the Japanese national team, because are we supposed to expect that only Isagi is becoming good enough to play on this next level? Because yeah, they tried their best to show that Barou could. He scored 2 goals, he overcame Snuffy's own philosophies, and took the team on to be his own. He became the new king of the Ubers, as it was stated. And they still lost. I feel like this match could have been a really big turning point for Barou. Like I said, he hasn't gotten a true win over Isagi in a long time. I don't think ever since they first met. Isagi's kind of been owning him ever since. So giving him this one little moral victory would have not only cemented the fact that we know he is just born to play the striker position, as Snuffy stated earlier on in the match. We all know the relationship between Isagi and Barou at this point. Every time they run into each other, it's a bit toxic. And it's not toxic in a bad way. It's the best possible way for both of them. And why is that, you may be asking? That is simply because they hate the fact that one might be better than the other. The thought of either of them being insignificant compared to the other is sickening. And that's truly why it's my favorite rivalry in the entirety of the series. But this completely invalidates every single thing that not only their relationship has established, but kind of discredits any sort of rivalry from going on in the future. Simply because Isagi's metavision is out of control, and the plot armor is carrying him to points where he shouldn't be able to be, narratively speaking. But at the same time, we know what he's lacking in. His physical stats aren't up to par with his mental, due to the fact that the levels of his physicals haven't caught up to the level of his brain. At least that's what's stated. And if you ask me, that's bullshit. Because you had a truly, truly perfect rivalry on your hands, and just wanted to flush it away. For what? Again, like I said, to fast-track Isagi on the pathway to becoming not only stronger than Rin, but Kaiser as well. Because, let's face it, before this match, he was nowhere near that level. His metavision may have been close, but he himself could not compete with either of them. Now, yeah, if he has Hiyori by his side or Corona by his side, you can make a case for him being better than both of them. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to sit here and say something as ludicrous as band for band, man for man, Isagi Yoichi stacks up to the likes of Michael Kaiser and Itoshi Rin. Hell, he doesn't even stack up against Barou. That was stated by Snuffy himself. So why is it okay to just have him no-diff the entire team that Barou leads. Not just Barou himself. He low-boyed Barou a couple times, as you guys recall in this recent game. But it wasn't just him, it was the entire team. Something that, yeah, sure, Barou did once, technically, but it was with the help of the entire Uber's team. The team said to have the best strategies and tactics for scoring. That is exactly what they do. And again, that's where this problem lies. You take established hype and throw it out the window. Because now, we're not, like, what are we supposed to believe? We were told that they had the best defense, right? But that's not true, because Bastion Munich has the best defense. Isagi and Kaiser both get more defensive stops than basically every single person that we've seen in the Neo Egoist League, and they're both attackers. We don't see the defenders do anything really ever. Even Lorenzo did basically nothing. Keep in mind, he was man-marking Kaiser. But still, why aren't defenders allowed to defend? Just so Isagi's metavision can seem that good? So I'd say that's my biggest gripe with this match. Barou Shouei is easily a top 5 character of mine in the entirety of the series. I've loved his character development from the beginning. I always loved his character design and just the way he acts. And this is just really, really heartbreaking for me, because for someone who is super invested in this manga, for someone who puts as much time, effort, and research into it as I do, I was kind of hoping for a little bit more from someone I expected more from, and I just didn't get that, narratively speaking, so I just have to address that issue. And on top of that, one thing I just want to pose for you super fans of the series, what does this mean for his rivalry with Nagi? Because for those of you who read episode Nagi religiously like I do, as you guys know, he is my favorite character, Nagi always fathers Barou. And I understand if this is going to be the turning point in episode Nagi, where Barou finally does get the win and gets it handedly because of the strategies and tactics that he's running with the Ubers. They're following him now. They're going to do everything to get him to score more so than they were under Snuffy's rule, because this is Barou's rule. So maybe if you were doing this to set up a new awakening for Nagi down the line when they actually end up facing the Ubers, then great. I totally understand if that's the catalyst for Nagi to change, because most of the time we've seen Nagi change, especially in episode Nagi, it's been when he's faced Barou. So truly, if that's what you want to use this as an excuse for, then awesome. If I'm wrong about this and it ends up being the perfect call, cool. Like I told you guys before, I'm not going to complain about the series being great. I love the series. I just have an issue with the way this last game was handled, and I'm not going to stop talking about it until we cover everything that you really do need to address in this match. But as far as he's concerned, Barou Shouei deserves better. I don't know if it's going to happen in the next match. I don't know if it's going to happen in the next arc, but he deserves more. It's just fucked up. It's a waste of a perfect character who's gone through amazing development and could have used a win in this scenario. But then again, what do I know? I'm just a YouTuber who covers the series. But yeah, I think that's all I got to talk to you guys about today. Thank you so much to each and every one of you for tuning in. As always, I really do appreciate it. If you went on to enjoy this video, make sure you leave a like and consider subbing up to the channel down below with post notifications turned on so you never miss another banger from myself. I am going to be coming at you all month with daily uploads, so please stay tuned if you want more Blue Lock or anime content just like this. And as always, I love you guys. Take it easy.